I love rubbing alcohol. Whoa. So useful. I have like a gallon worth of 99%. This stuff is fantastic for cleaning computer stuff, like when I need to clean off my phone or my Nintendo Switch. You don't want to get water on any electronics. This is good for cleaning that. Now, I have 70% rubbing alcohol. I actually have another bottle back here and another one here. I usually get multiple bottles of rubbing alcohol when I go to the store. 70% is good for if you get hurt, so if I get like a cut on my hand, this is great. Helps disinfect the wound. Love it for that. But I also put it in a spray bottle. We'll go ahead and... Spray bottle. This is rubbing alcohol. I use this to clean off things. Like, let's go over here to these cashews. I'll just take the bottle, spray it down, or wipe it down, depending on what I'm doing. Disinfects it. Really helps with my OCD. Love it for that. And a big thing it does is rubbing alcohol will kill bugs. I have a fear of roaches. When I see a roach in my room, spray it down, it dies. Because it dies, the cleanup is so much easier. Because roaches are such a pain to deal with. This gives me a good ranged attack. It works very similar to window cleaner. If you have window cleaner, you can use rubbing alcohol like this. Actually, that's the spray. You want to use the stream. Boom. Get it on a roach or something like that. It dies fairly quickly because you didn't squash it. You don't have to clean up the mess. It's fantastic for that. I love this thing. It's so good. So useful. I use it for so many things. I use it to clean off groceries that I just got because, as I said, I have OCD. Anything on that side of the room needs to be cleaned off with alcohol or Clorox wipes. But rubbing alcohol is very cheap. I can get a bottle for a few dollars at the store. So I get 70% to clean off things. I can use it on my fursuit. Sort of. If I get too much on my fursuit, it can mess up with some of the dyes. Or not dyes. It actually messes up with the Sharpie that my fursuit maker used to mark where to cut. So that's kind of funny. So it's useful for that. 70%. Love using it for disinfecting cuts. Because you don't want to get an infection. It's not good. Cleans off a lot of things. Great to use. And the 99% is for electronics. If I want to clean out the charging port of my phone. That's not something you want to get wet because that can ruin it. But I have OCD. I need that to be clean, right? So, disinfect it with 99% rubbing alcohol. It evaporates instantly. Perfect. Now, there is one thing you're not supposed to use rubbing alcohol for, and that is drinking or consuming. Rubbing alcohol is very bad for you if you ingest it. It breaks down in your body very differently from drinking alcohol. So you have to keep that in mind, because that can be very dangerous and toxic for your body. But its uses are so numerous. I use this stuff constantly. I go through a bottle a week because it's just so good. It evaporates super quick, so you don't even have to let it stay like that for very long. Cleans off everything super efficiently, especially if you have a spray bottle. It's fantastic. I love this stuff, and it's even a solvent for some things, which you do have to be aware of what is soluble in alcohol. Because if you're not careful, it will ruin, the coloration of things. For example, with... Hang on. That's a bad example. Let's take... this Best By date on these hot dog buns I have. These will dissolve in rubbing alcohol. So when I spray this down, I won't be able to see the expiration date because it will dissolve off. But that can also be very good for cleaning. If you have, like, some Sharpie on the wall from when you were a kid and you want to get that off, rubbing alcohol dissolves that. It is so versatile. I use it for so many things. In case of emergency, this can be used as a fire starter. Rubbing alcohol, very flammable. I could, if I had some rubbing alcohol on me, put some on a little bit of kindling, makes it much easier to light. This stuff is fantastic. As I've said, I use this thing constantly. Like, you could already see how empty this bottle is. I use it for everything. It's fantastic. So many applications. I just love using it. It helps with my OCD a lot because I have the contamination kind of OCD. So if you have OCD, I'd recommend using it, but be careful when you use it. This stuff on your skin can dry out very quickly, which is not good if you already overwash your hands like I do. So wash this off after you've gotten it on your hands, or use gloves. Gloves are ideal, but honestly I usually don't use gloves, which probably isn't very smart for me. But it's fun. Also, probably should not be used as hand sanitizer. If you don't have any hand sanitizer, it might do. That's what I did when I was at FWA. I had just gotten Dairy Queen, and I didn't have a fork to eat the tenders that they gave me. And I was like, I'm not going to leave my food just alone with no one watching it. And I'm not going to eat it with my hands dirty. So I used this as like a makeshift hand sanitizer. And it made me feel better. Oh, one more thing. Super glue dissolves in rubbing alcohol. Usually, if you need to remove super glue, you will use acetone or nail polish remover. That is probably the most common way to remove it. But maybe you don't have nail polish remover. Rubbing alcohol. It will dissolve the super glue. I've used that before because I was attending an event and I needed to super glue something to myself. After the event, I needed to get it off. Rubbing alcohol made it come off instantly. I love this stuff. It is so good for, like, anything. It's super efficient, but you have to know how to use it. For example, I made this jewelry. It is made of bronze and resin. The bronze and the resin are super glued together. So I cannot clean this with rubbing alcohol, otherwise it will come off. As you can see, that is super glue. So be careful when using it. Look up if something is soluble in rubbing alcohol before you spray it. Like that over there. The varnish on the cabinet thing. I ruined that by spraying alcohol on it. But honestly, it was in really bad condition when I got here, so I don't really care. But, fantastic. I've used it on my Switch, on my phone, used it on everything. Highly recommend. I know I keep rambling on, but rubbing alcohol is just something I really like, so I had to, share it a bit. Know what you're buying. 70% is the most effective for disinfecting wounds and cuts. It is also the cheapest. I use rubbing alcohol to clean most things. But 99% is the best for cleaning electronics. Because the water can ruin it. So, yeah, whoa, crazy. Alright, I'm gonna go back to washing dishes. Bye-bye.